Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video, and today we're looking at the new LMG for the support class in the Turning Tides DLC, the M1917 MG. We'll be looking at both the low weight variant and the telescopic variant. I'll give you my tips and tricks, full review, and let you know if it's actually good. Little spoiler, I think it's fantastic, but stick around to find out why. Now if you end up finding this video helpful or enjoyable, then I genuinely appreciate you taking that split second to hit the like button as always. With that being said, let's get into this. We'll start with the low weight and talk about the basics of the weapon beneath the two variants, as I'm pretty sure the low weight will be the most popular option for most people. Then we'll look at the telescopic and talk about its individual qualities afterwards. So the M1917 MG is probably best compared with the Bene Merci in order to give you a basic overview of it. It has the same maximum and minimum damage, the same rate of fire, and the same muzzle velocity, so it essentially sits in the middle of the pack for many key statistics in the support class. This means that while it doesn't hugely excel at any of these things, it's strong overall with no striking weaknesses. The same can be said for its bullet spread, where it sits at about average numbers when compared with many of its competitors, except for when stood completely still. In this situation, it has very low spread, which essentially means more of your shots will go where you aim. Combine this with pretty strong recoil figures, which essentially sees you experience almost entirely vertical recoil, and you have a very reliable weapon that's fairly easy to control. Simply get used to the kick it does have and steadily pull down as you fire. Throw on top of that you get 250 rounds available per reload, and you have an absolute monster of a weapon. You can take on many enemies at a time without the need to throw more rounds into your gun. You can spray at range until a target finally drops. And of course, having this many rounds gives you lots of versatility to spray away at enemy planes or provide heavy suppressive fire for your teammates. I believe you can also fire something like 52 consecutive rounds before the weapon overheats. That's more ammo than most weapons can even utilize without a reload. So by now, I'm sure we're all getting the impression that the M1917 MG might be a bit of a powerhouse gun, but there's still more. There isn't a single LMG that beats the damage drop off of this weapon, so it's very reliable at all ranges due to its decent rate of fire, basic recoil pattern, friendly bullet spread, and top tier damage drop off. This is all without mentioning the Bipod, which as always turns the weapon into a laser beam. In fact, if you can build up the playstyle of moving from cover to cover in order to utilize the Bipod, then the M1917 MG is absolutely lethal. You just need to get used to hip firing at close quarters when required, and it does have pretty solid hip fire based on my experiences so far. Now moving on to the low weight variant specifically, I advise that most players throw on the AA sights. I think they're a lot cleaner and easier to use. I imagine most of you will have a much better time staying on target with these sights than with the default ones. Overall, I find this variant to be extremely versatile, fun, and satisfying to use. I had no issue taking people down at a variety of ranges, and it allowed me to do two things at opposite ends of the spectrum. I could sit and hold down a lane, or push a flank to take on multiple people at once. There was the odd occasion where I felt like I wasn't getting great hit detection for all of my bullets, and I'm not sure if this is something to do with the weapon or simply lag, but either way, this was a minor downside for a truly fantastic gun. I'd say it's kinda like using an improved version of the MG15 low weight or Storm, and I already like that weapon. The M1917 MG low weight is just that good. And that should wrap up what I have to say about this variant, so let's have a quick rundown of the telescopic one now. I'm traditionally not a particularly huge fan of this kind of variant, but I've absolutely fallen in love with this one. The telescopic M1917 is truly phenomenal. The first thing I did was set the magnification of my scope down to the minimum possible. This allows me to still have superior long range vision when compared to most other weapons, whilst also allowing me to compete more easily at close quarters. It's not that hard to track your target from any range this way, whereas the higher magnifications can make it a bit of a nightmare at times. Obviously the Bipod is even more useful on this variant and can net you easy kills when used correctly. I will say that when shooting at people without the Bipod, it can look like you're missing a lot of bullets, but I found that I was still dropping people pretty quickly. It's kind of a weird thing, but you'll understand more when you actually use it. Just keep your crosshair on the target and they'll go down, even if it looks like you're bouncing around everywhere around them. Now at very close range, it will be even more important that you get used to using hip fire usually, and again this weapon is pretty reliable when employing this tactic. And that pretty much sums up everything I have to say where both variants are concerned. I absolutely love them, and I think most of you will too. It's powerful, fun, and satisfying, and I look forward to hearing what you guys think of it. So let me know in the comment section below. Have you got it yet? Are you looking forward to it if not? And which variant is your favorite? There's also also a link towards the bottom of the description to support the channel for $4.99 a month if you like what I do around here. I see everyone that chooses to do so. I'm extremely grateful, and it's super helpful while the channel is so small. And feel free to like, favorite, and subscribe. I'm Get Good Guy, and I'll see you next time. Laters.